Hey guys, here's some more proof that eating a healthy plant-based diet increases your longevity and helps protect you against a lot of our degenerative diseases that pretty much most Americans face. And that would be the Okinawa Diet. The Okinawa Diet is a nutrient-rich, low-calorie diet from the indigenous people of the Ryūkyū Islands. In addition, a commercially promoted weight loss diet, which bears the same name, has also been made based on this standard diet of the islanders. People from the islands of Ryūkyū, of which Okinawa is the largest, have a life expectancy among the highest in the world. Although their life expectancy rank among Japanese prefectures has plummeted in recent years, their unusual longevity has been attributed in part to the traditional local diet, but also to genetic inheritance, lifestyle, and environmental factors. Generally, the traditional diet of the islanders was 20% lower in calories than the Japanese average and contained 300% of the green and yellow vegetables. Although the traditional Japanese diet included large quantities of rice, in Okinawa, rice was consumed in smaller amounts and the staple was instead the sweet potato. The Okinawa diet has only 25% of the sugar and 75% of the grains of the average Japanese dietary intake. The traditional diet also includes a relatively small amount of fish, less than half a serving per day, and somewhat more in the way of soy and other legumes, 6% of total caloric intake. Pork was highly valued, and every part of the pig was eaten, including internal organs. However, pork and fish were primarily eaten on holidays, and the everyday diet was almost exclusively plant-based. Cooking was sometimes done with lard. Their overall traditional diet would be considered a very high carbohydrate by modern standards, with carbohydrates, protein, and fat providing 85%, 9%, and 6% of total calories respectively. The consumption of pork in Okinawa in 1979 was 7.9 kilograms, or 17.4 pounds per person per year. This may be contrasted with the average consumption of meat in the United States, which by 2005 included 62.4 pounds of beef, 46.5 pounds of pork, and 73.6 pounds of poultry per person per year. Virtually no eggs or dairy products were consumed. So as you can see, guys, the Okinawans, who have the longest life expectancy in the world, are eating a high carbohydrate diet with most of their carbs coming from sweet potatoes, and they're only eating about 17.5 pounds of animal products a year, which comes from pork and fish, which is hardly nothing at all, compared with the average American consuming over 150 pounds of meat per year. And the Okinawas also don't eat any eggs or dairy products, which have been linked to a lot of other degenerative diseases, especially dairy. An Okinawa reaching 110 years of age has typically had a diet consistently averaging no more than 1 calorie per gram of food and has a BMI of 20.4. Another good indication that your waistline is your lifeline. People that are slimmer and aren't so concerned about being so bulky and muscular usually have a longer life expectancy. And that's why you don't see me gulping down these humongous protein shakes, which is very bad for your health. And I'm totally content and comfortable in my own body, and I don't need to be huge to try to impress women. In addition to their high life expectancy, islanders are noted for their low mortality from cardiovascular disease and certain types of cancers. Wilcock, 2007, compared age-adjusted mortality of Okinawans versus Americans and found that during 1995, an average Okinawan was 8 times less likely to die from coronary heart disease, 7 times less likely to die from prostate cancer, 6.5 times less likely to die from breast cancer, and 2.5 times less likely to die from colon cancer than an average American of the same age. The traditional Okinawa diet, as described above, has been practiced on the islands till the end of the World War II. Since then, dietary practices have been shifting towards Western and Japanese patterns, with fat intake rising to 27% of total caloric intake and the sweet potato being supplanted with rice and bread. So basically, the diet consists of a relatively low energy intake and contains similar foods to the traditional Okinawa diet. The principal focus of the diet consists of knowing the food energy density of each food item. The proponents of this diet divide food into food categories based on caloric density. The featherweight foods, less than or equal to 0.8 calories per gram, which one can eat freely without major concern. The lightweight foods with a caloric density from 0.8 to 1.5 calories per gram, with which one should eat in moderation, and the middleweight foods with a caloric density from 1.5 to 3.8 calories per gram, which one should eat only while carefully monitoring portion size, and the heavyweight foods from 3 to 9 calories per gram, which one should eat only sparingly. So as you can see, they eat very little food, and they eat low on the food chain, so they eat a lot of plant-based foods. And so there you go. Here's really good proof that eating a plant-based diet increases your longevity and is very health promoting. Now that's in stark contrast with people eating a low-carb diet high in animal food products. If that diet that people are advocating out there, such as the Weston A. Price organization, low carb, Atkins, how come we don't see longevity in these other cultures or peoples? The truth of the matter is that even a true carnivore, such as a lion, doesn't eat as much meat as a human does. And a human, which I mean is advocating an Atkins type diet or Weston A. Price type diet or whatever have you. Even true carnivores do not consume the amount of meat that Americans would consume per year. So we really eat far more animal products than what we actually require, and we would all do better to eat a lot more plant-based foods. And also, here's some references with the studies to these things. So there you guys have it. Wikipedia, Okinawa Diet. And we can definitely learn some good health advice from these longest lived people in the world.